Hello, programming engineers. Welcome back once more to this drives course. And in this class for today, or for this class, we're going to identify the parameters that we had previously identified in our HNC drive. So we're going to see how to visualize them, how to look for them, and how to store them. So I'm going to turn on my camera so you can watch the connection that I'd already run in our terminal for the control part. And we have the same thing, which is a start button, a stop button, our selector, our tri-phase feed, which in this case is 220, and the exit point headed to our motor. So ready then. So I'm going to feed through my switch my drive. So here I've already fed it. It's already in the system. Now what do I have here? So automatically we start seeing 20 light up and off. So it's blinking. So that means that it's set by default. Now, how can we start configuring and setting up our drive? Here we have our button which says PRG, which means program. So let me focus this a little bit. So it says PRG, program. Let me pull it up. So I'm going to select this. And now we have our parameters list. This is pretty intuitive. So it says P0. And according to our parameters that we have here on this side, we need our P0.01. Okay? And it's still blinking at 0. So let's see in our manual, P0.01. It says here that the panel running command is going to be through the keypad. But when it's equals 01, it should direct us to the external part, which in this case are the digital inputs. So we need 1. So we select 1. We have already one of them ready. Now I'm going to light it up. Let me underline it, sorry. Now if you notice, I've been running this, and I'd like you guys to pay close attention to this. According to the parameters that I've seen, I wanted to enter the data for the motors, in this case, and then I'm going to enter the frequency. Okay? Just so that you guys can notice that it doesn't matter the arrangement, just as long as you respect the 5 steps or this methodology. Okay? So in this case, we have P01, which is ready. Now, let's go to our P03, which is our frequency, and where we're getting this from. P003. Now, this is telling us that this is from the keyboard. So I do not have any external potency meter. I have no communication, so therefore, I'm going to leave it as such. A parameter that we had already set up by default. Okay? Now, this is telling us if it's 0, it is telling us if it's our setup from upwards or downwards, and it should be from the same place. So if this doesn't work, we're going to try it out with our next configuration. So we have 2, and now what is missing here? So P3, here it is. So it's telling us that it needs to be the motor potency. So we go over to our P3 memory and 003. So in this case, it has 0.6 kilowatts. So therefore, we need 0.21. Now, if you notice, it's telling us here that the minimum potency is 0.4 kilowatts, which means half an HP. So our drive, that's what our drive is recommending us to do. And yes, it's actually not allowing us to move forward. Okay, let me focus this. It's not allowing us to get more of this. So therefore, we're going to leave it with its minimum, which is 4. So, in summary, P0.01, we already changed that to 1. P003, it's already default in 0. And we changed P3, which was our motor potency. So we entered this number as its minimum. Now, with this, ideally, we would have to adjust with the current potency for our motor. So it has to go to 0.02 kilowatts. So if we want to make this more efficient, ideally, it wouldn't be to get this HP. So we would need to get a smaller one. But we have others that can be adjusted to the minimum value. Okay? What else? Speed. So we have P3.01, which is the motor voltage. So 220 volts. Excellent then. And if you see here, our range is indicating us that it's from 0 to 440 volts. So we could also feed it at that voltage to our motor. Our current, 0.94 amps, 3.02. Let me just take a moment because the camera is falling over, tipping over. Let me just make a small adjustment. Here we go. All right. Ready then. 3.02. And we have a current here. Let's see if this allows me to do this. We're at 0.94 amps. So I'm going to leave this. It didn't send out or it didn't call out for any errors or failures. And then it's asking me for a frequency. Now, if you notice here, this is 50 hertz. So we're going to change it out to 60 hertz. Okay? It was specified here, so that's why it gave us the first parameters by default with 50 hertz. So here in Mexico, it's 60 hertz. And then we also have our average speed, our average velocity, which is 1752 revolutions, RPMs. So it's 1752. So here, okay. And now we have here we go. In our chart, we have it here. We have more than half. It's filled more than halfway. And then finally, we have to select our connection type and our digital inputs. So here, our manual is pretty intuitive because it's going direct to the point. Okay, it's not circling, it's not middlemaning anything. It's simply the parameter group. Does not give us any more explanation. It's saying, you know what? This is actually helping us for 2-line, 3-line the operation mode. So look for this through your manual with a little bit more detail. And these are only parameters. So it's calling out for our range, our default value, our default setting, so it's pretty intuitive. So it's P600, and this is in 0. So we're going to change this to, it says here 2. So let's test it out here. And it's ready now. Okay. Now finally, it's telling us that they should be the digital inputs. And they're right here, which is P02, P03, and P602 is our X1 input, or digital input number 1. P603 is input number 2, and so on and so on. Okay? Okay. Now, since the keyboard is already being configured, set up, it's going to allow us to adjust it. So let's leave it at 9. So in theory, it should work. You guys ready? Here we go. It's already, our mode is already starting up with our simple configuration, basic, general. So it's already started up. So I'm going to stop this. And there it is. So again, I power this on, start it up. And I stop. Start it up. And stop. Now, this frequency is our current frequency, which it stops at 0 hertz. And now this is the commanded frequency. Again, our Asian culture indicates that simpler is better. The simplest option is the best option. So basically, that's it. That would be it. On our turn side, works the same way. So we see here that it started one way, and if we change the course, it turns to the other side. If we stop it and change the course, then we start it up. So it goes to the other side. And again, we change the course with our selector, with our switch. Now, again, it's turning counterclockwise. Now, what I like about this drive is that we can start increasing our speed, our velocity with our keyboard while it's starting up. Other drives don't allow us to do so until they are completely stopped. But this drive, again, I'm telling you, I think it's very, very simple, and for me, it's better. Okay? But you may say, well, how simple? Because the drive looks pretty simple. So now it's going to depend on each one of us. Okay? So with this is pretty simple. Okay? This is the one before last stretch, which we are configuring. And now let's go to our PowerFlex configuration. Okay? Thank you all guys for your time, and I'll see you on our next video. If you have any questions, please add them in the comments. Anything related to this drive or any question at all. Anything that you see, a parameter that you want explained or need explained, or that you're also looking at into work that we're not really looking at here, please let me know and we can review this so that we can tell you what it's all about. Okay? Big hug, guys, and I'll see you on our next video.